Yes. What I like about India and Indian teachers is the tradition of spirituality that they can bring to the West. What makes your particular tradition or teachings stand out from other, maybe Indian Hindu teachers?
Well, there exists polarity in everything in this world today. Polarization is at its extreme. And spiritual polarization started many millennia back, actually. And that was very unfortunate. My elders, my masters of the traditions, they felt that you cannot separate spiritual life and the material life that we are in. Cannot make them into two zones and say, I will live only this or I will live only that.
Right.
Right? And that polarizes immensely and that destroys the fabric of wholeness. He said, what really happens, and I will tell you a personal story of mine that I really took off, and because of the millennia long influence on human psyche of Indian youth, they say, okay, why don't you become a celibate and ascetic and wander in search of peace or in search of God? So I took that inspiration and moved on sometime when I was 18 in one of my summer vacations from college. And I took off early morning from my home without telling anyone that I'm taking this course. I was afraid that my family would stop me, so I could not inform. Anyway, I go to the riverside and there was a beautiful temple. I spent whole day there. And with that temple, there were wandering ascetics. They are called aghoris.
Agoras, yeah.
Yeah.
I know Agoras, yeah.
Yeah, and by the sunset, in the evening time, when elderly Agori comes to me and says, boy, why are you here? I said, look, would you become my master, my guide, my teacher, so that you can guide me on the path of spirituality? He was an elderly person, and he said, with a lot of compassion, with tears, wet eyes, he said, look, I left my home almost at around the same age as yours now. I'm 80 plus. And I have merely remained a beggar. I haven't attained anything, let alone peace of mind, or further the realization of the ultimate. So he told me, please go back home. Your guru, your master will find you one day. And true to his words, within a month, a friend of mine, he said, look, I'll take you to one lady, she'll put you in trance right away. And she happened to be the preceptor, the trainer of this particular heartfulness way of meditation. And she introduced me to this system. And there she explained me the uniqueness of this particular methodology. First thing is, he said, God is not lost that you have to look for him. Second thing, God would not have created two sexes if one was enough. That is the purpose of marriage. And in a family life, you can learn to sacrifice for each other, learn to love each other. Unless we have this exercise of love within the family, only then you're able to extend it beyond your families. And after all, when we say God is love, and it is also true, the reverse of it, that love is God. Both are true. So I was very impressed by this initial philosophizing of the path I was to enter. But what impressed me the most was the experience in the very first session of meditation. And that experience was so profound that yes, this is the path for me. They don't talk much of philosophies. They talk only of experiencing something. Because it does not matter how many belief systems you have, however great it could be, But unless you experience your belief is not strengthened.
Was your experience then that was so transformational?
Oh, I had instantaneous state of samadhi. I was almost levitating, not physically, but I felt my body consciousness was zapped, gone. I felt no sensation at all. I was completely gone. And when the consciousness little by little descended into me, I felt very centered and very peaceful, very content that yes, I have arrived home. That feeling of absolute peace was there.
So you began your spiritual path with that
With that.
samadhi type experience, but how were you able to balance, having a family, wife, children, because that's where the material world comes in with the beautiful meditations.
Well, when I started meditating, I was a student of pharmacy. And actually, every morning I would meditate. And that would sharpen my mind, it will make it so fresh. And it could absorb things faster than my other colleagues. Your intuitive ability all just skyrockets. There's another practice within this heartfulness offerings. It's called cleaning, how we clean our emotional baggage. And around that age, 17, 18, 19, we tend to accumulate so much of emotional baggage. I think I could protect myself with that. So there was a greater clarity because of meditation during my study times. After marriage, came to United States, started pharmacy. Before that, I had to clear the exams for certification. So meditation again became very, very helpful to me because within a week of study, I could clear the New York State Board, California State Board, and just like that, like that. So that I give a lot of credit to this inward attention to our.
But people get sucked into that world. How were you able to, because maybe you have a deep connection to spirit, maybe how you didn't get sucked in to that world?
No, not really, because the system of meditation which is being offered, if I had to give an example, if you are walking with a crutch or a cane, because you need it, right? Most often people are unable to focus on the mind, or focus with the mind, or focus within the mind, see? Whichever vocabulary you want to use. But with the flow of energy that comes from the trainer, they regulate that flow in such a way that your present awareness, your consciousness, is taken up as if you are physically taken in a wheelchair, like that, your consciousness is somehow hijacked, pulled up into a higher level of consciousness, despite of ourselves. And you're able to experience that.
That's what you teach.
That's what we teach. That
the
it's
heart
okay.
center.
If you can't manage your mind, don't worry. You have problems, don't worry. You don't believe in God, don't worry.
Just do the practice.
Just meditate on one idea that there is presence of the source of all life within me, in my heart, and that is attracting my attention inward. That's all. And the trainer does the rest of the job.
So the student just centers on their heart and knows that heart's the source of everything.
Correct.
And do they say a mantra? Do they say...
No, mantra will take you away from inward movement. Because you see, dhyan in Sanskrit, unlike meditation, has a different meaning. Meditation is all about focused mind, right?
Right.
And you can focus on known objects.
Known.
Known.
Only known objects. Yeah, okay.
How can you focus on unknown?
Well, you can't.
Divinity.
Yeah,
right?
you can't focus.
So one has to transcend the mind itself. And dhyana, which is the real name in Sanskrit, is to go beyond your mind. And that energy transmission or pranahuti does lift our mind, takes it beyond. We transcend the mind. And what happens when we transcend the mind? It's not that the function of the mind is stopped, but the thinking now is slowly shifting to feelings.
Uh-huh.
So the logic ends and the feelings begin
Because that's why we're really here, to feel.
to feel, yes.
So to do this, I mean, and you've done this that first time with this teacher, was that, and you've refined that practice, so.
It's very simple and very interesting. And many years, or rather many months later, I met the founder of the system during my vacation time. That was again a kind of a quantum leap in my consciousness after meeting him.
So what was the progress then? You started out eager to know God, Spirit, and then when you went deeper, how did you change? What did you notice about yourself?
I remained more focused within. There was a lot of joy in the heart. There was peace. There was purpose in life. So I felt content, immense content within myself that I have arrived home and I don't have to run around for anything. And when I really started business also later in New York City, it didn't stop me. Because the teaching, the philosophy of the system is very unique. As you were asking, what is the uniqueness of this? For example, when you are partaking your meals, right? Nothing stops you from going inward,
Right.
and be with yourself, and be in touch with that, what we call that core, the feeling of love inside, right? Likewise, whenever, as a pharmacist, I was accepting prescription, processing the prescription,
Right.
and consulting the patients. These are external acts, but mentally, you are in tune within your heart. And this is a training.
It is.
It
It
is a
is.
training.
So are you happy now? Are you say you found peace?
I think it will be too bold a statement if I say peace is a child's play in this journey.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, peace is just a toy.
So what is
play
the state of consciousness you would say that you're at or in?
I don't know.
Well, thank you. That's on.
I really don't know, but something, if you take it away from me, I'll be like a fish out of water.
So you are in a state of, I mean, you have a lot of responsibilities. You have houses and ashrams and people and staff, but that doesn't shake up the internal prod, right? Right.
And that's what the basic training is of the system. I'll give you a small example. Like when we were children, we learned bicycling. Right? But before that, you were on tricycle with the supporting wheels on the back. One of our parents would help. Okay, now you paddle. And the time comes you are on just two wheels and no support. And then a time comes you are going to school on your bike, singing songs, letting go of your hands, watching the traffic signals at the same time, and conversing with friends and thinking of what to do next. So many things are happening, but your legs are busy paddling.
Yeah.
They don't stop. So likewise, through meditation, we come at such a meditative state that you are heartfully paddling that meditative state within you, and at the same time you are interacting with the world.
So you could be here talking, but still keeping that same inner peace. You know what's so interesting also about your teachings and work is the spiritual anatomy you outline in these books. A lot of people don't talk about the spiritual anatomy. They just talk about the physical anatomy. They'll talk about the intersection between the spirit, the physical, and the, higher dimension.
Well, physical manifestation it has only one dimension to it.
Right. Right.
The spiritual or spirituality has multiple dimensions based on which energy vortex you are at within your physical body. For example, if you are on the heart chakra, or you are on a fire chakra or water chakra, or you are here at the Trikuti, or you are a Sahasradal Kamal, the dimension of consciousness will change.
Yeah.
You see? And all these chakras are not imaginary or hypothetical chakras, but in heartfulness way, as we go through this energy transmission from chakra to chakra as we move, you are able to feel various climate of those locations.
Yeah.
By climate, I mean your moods, your intensity of consciousness, your awareness, your perception. It completely it would change.
Depending on where the focus is, of course.
Where you are at that particular moment in your journey.
Are there chakras above the body too? You have the seventh, and then are there eighth? No.
We have so far, understood 7 chakras, but there are more than that. In fact, there are infinite chakras.
Where are those chakras?
Everywhere.
Are they in the
in the body?
In the body.
Muladhara is well known, Swadhisthana, Manipur, heart. But we have my master, my guide. He had invented, he found, he realized that there are much more. And he said there are 16 main chakras, though there are infinite chakras between each chakra also. Yeah. And a person of perception can really, can say, okay, I feel here, I feel like here, I feel something like that. And you can write a beautiful journal out of your own experiences as you move on.
So the practitioner then focuses on all these 16 chakras and shifts their consciousness to the energy vibration of those chakras. But I have to ask you about one chapter in here, the secret ingredient.
Okay.
What is the secret ingredient?
Well, to be secret ingredient, from our side,
it
is always an attitude. With what attitude one is approaching the spiritual path. And from the other side, you don't need any attitude, because that subject is always waiting, waiting for purity. So one can, there is a general belief of transcending oneself or one's soul into heaven.
Into heaven, yeah.
Right? There is nothing wrong with this idea. But when the heart is so pure and simple, innocent, then divinity would find you. It's like, these heat-seeking missiles. They target you and boom. Even this, what we call honeybees or butterflies, they'll find where the flowers are and which flower to associate with. Even if the flower is blooming in the crevices of the rocks, honeybee will find it where it is. So if such is the case, how can divinity not find you, find the heart that is so pure?